Today's story is going to be about how I was punished for doing it with another girl at an all-girl boarding school. Hello everyone, it is Shannon Rose, and today I am doing a story time, and I'm so excited to tell you this story because I thought that I had already told, this is what happens when you tell too many stories on YouTube. I thought that I had already told this story, but I guess I haven't because I kept looking through all my videos like, have I told this story? I feel like I've told it and I couldn't find it. So in case it is up somewhere, let me know. But if not, this is gonna be like an updated version of this story. I know I talked about it in my first book, but I didn't really go into too much detail, and I kind of wanted to talk about the story a little bit more. So if you read the book, you've heard the story before, but I want to tell a little bit more detail about like what happened and how we got caught, who caught us, and all these different things. First things first, if you're new to my channel, I'm Shannon Rose, and I do lots of different videos. I also have a vlog channel that's separate from this channel where I do a lot more like mom stuff because I'm a mom. I do like baking and cleaning and like DIY videos over there and kind of just like vlog our daily life and stuff. And then on this channel, I do more story times, more challenges, more organized videos, I guess you would say, other than the story times. I just sit down and tell a story. So today's story is going to be about how I was punished for doing it with another girl at an all-girl boarding school. And you guys, there is some crazy stuff that I'm going to tell you today. I think back of myself like as a teenager being at this, I call it a boarding school because it was kind of like a boarding school. I got like sent away to school, but it was way worse than a boarding school. It was basically a lockdown facility for all girls. And you think of like a jail or like a jail for women. This was worse than that, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. Also, fun fact, I just found out that in 2017, so like what, 2 years ago or something, this boarding school that I was sent away to just permanently closed down. And I feel like that's its whole own video on like why the boarding school like shut down. So if you want to see a video like on that and going into more detail on like a lot of the fucked up things that like happened to like a lot of the students there and like what the staff did and just like what it was like living there and why I personally think it shut down, let me know. But today's video is going to be all about like how I got in trouble for having sex with another girl at this boarding school and how we got caught and like how it made me have to stay there much longer because of this. I was a really bad kid. Let's just kind of like preface this video. I was a really bad kid. I was doing drugs. I was really, really bad. Like think of like the worst kid in your school and then times that by 100, that was me. My mom probably thought like I was gonna end up like dead in a ditch somewhere. Like she was gonna find me dead in a ditch somewhere. I was like a lost cause. That's probably like what my mom thought. And so my mom literally did everything she could to send me away. I felt so abandoned by her. Is that the right word? You know, you have like the people that are closest to you that you trust the most. Like that person was my mom. And then she drugged me, put me on a plane, and sent me to like freaking freezing. I'm from California. I'm like a LA girl, like a city LA girl with like perfect weather all the time, and she like shipped me over to Colorado, which is a beautiful place, but like it was freezing there and it snowed, you know, it just was like totally out of my element. And she said like, I didn't want to put you in a like lockdown facility for all girls like in California because I thought that you would run away and you know too many people out here. And so she wanted to put me somewhere where like I couldn't run away and like cross the Appalachian Mountains or whatever to get back home. So she stuck me in this boarding school. She drugged me to get me there. She basically got like medication from a doctor, told me that it was like my psychiatric medication that I was supposed to be taking, but I was on so many drugs, like I didn't even know what she was giving me. I just took it thinking it was like, you know, the medication I was taking all the time. It wasn't. It was like a freaking horse tranquilizer. I just remember like being so out of it. I couldn't walk. They had to put me in a wheelchair to get me like through the airport. They had to dress me like in clothes. I had no idea what was going on. I remember like vaguely my mom telling me like we're having to like, I don't know, it was just really fucked up. Like, and whatever the drug was that they gave me, it made me like have amnesia, so I forgot like everything that happened. And I just remember like literally waking up in a random bed somewhere that was not very nice and looking around and seeing this girl in the room I was in looking at me, and I was like, where am I? And she was like, you're an Excelsior Youth Center. Like, super ghetto chick, right? And I was just like, what am I on? Like, what drugs did I take? Because this is like, this is not a drug. Like, I don't like this, you know, like make it stop. I talk about all of this. I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but I really need to get to the point, but I kind of just want to like preface the story of like why I ended up there, how I got there. So I had been in this lockdown facility for all girls for a while. You are like really secluded there. Anyway, you also change roommates every like couple months or whatever, because I don't really know why. I'm sure there's a reason. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's like a safety thing. You change rooms every couple months, and so you get a new roommate like every few months. And I had gotten this roommate who was like full-on lesbian. I think like, oh, she was like dating some girl in there, like I had known or like heard about that she was like dating some girl that lived in like a different cottage than us. It wasn't a prison. Like I feel like when you think of an all-girl like boarding school lockdown facility, you think of like this big place with like, which it was a big place, but we actually lived off campus and we were they would put us in these vans and we would go to the school. We were the only cottage off campus, and it was like this big house that was kind of like a little mini prison and it had like bars on the windows, but like all the girls lived in like these little cottages on campus, and then there was like the big school that everyone would go to. Ours just happened to be off of campus. I don't know how I ended up at that one. I think maybe it's just like there was an opening there, and so that's where they shoved me. So I had become roommates with this girl. Like I said, remember that she was like dating this other girl, or I had heard about it. But this is the thing, you get in a lot of trouble if you are like in a relationship with someone there, or like hooking up. Like it's like a huge no-no. You're not allowed to like hook up with anybody. It's not like a regular school. If you get in trouble, what happens, there's like a leveling system, right? So when you first get there, you're on a level where like you're not allowed to do a lot of stuff, and you earn like privileges basically. I had gotten to like a level 4. I had been there for a while, like I was doing really good. I had all these privileges, and if you get in trouble, your privileges drop. And not only do your privileges drop, but your time spent there like gets longer. So think about being in jail, and then say you like get in a fight or something, and then you get in trouble, and now your sentencing is longer. That's kind of like what it was like at our boarding school. You know, you try your best not to get in school. I got in a big fight with like when I first got there, because for one, I didn't know how it worked. I got in a big fight with someone because I was messing around, and someone was like, you know, like, I don't know, they had done something like kind of shitty towards me, and I was like, I'll fucking kill you, like, you know, like, because I was crazy. I still am crazy, but not as crazy as I used to be, or at least I like to think so. You know how like you say something, you're like, you know, I'll kill you if you do that, but you don't really mean it. Anyway, these people didn't like me very much, and they knew that like I was new, and so I got in trouble for saying that because they thought I was being serious. Because if you're one of the kids in there, they probably think like, yeah, they're being serious, because there was a lot of very disturbed children in this place. I've mentioned this before, but like when you take all the most disturbed, like violent, traumatized, like fucked up kids from like all over the United States, and then you put them all into one place, crazy shit is gonna happen. I just feel like it's a recipe for like a disaster, and it's kind of like what happened. I get like off on these tangents, I'm sorry. I was rooming with this girl, and one day she full on came on to me, and I had not hooked up with anyone in a very long time, and I also was like attracted to girls, so like it wasn't like a weird thing for me, but it was kind of weird because she was my roommate, and she was also at the same level as me. We were both level 4s. So we both had like the same privileges or whatever. She came on to me one day, and she started like making out with me and like touching me. I was gonna say inappropriately, but like, let's be real. It was totally appropriate and fine for me. We ended up hooking up and like full on having girl sex. No one knew. No one walked in on us. We got away with, like, got away with it. At least that's what I thought. But this girl who wanted to like tell the world that we had hooked up, I guess trusted like this other girl and told her, and that girl ended up being like jealous because I think she had like a crush on the girl I had hooked up with, and ended up telling the staff that we hooked up. And so then the staff calls us in individually I remember like hearing over the intercom, like, can so-and-so come to the office or whatever, and I remember hearing that but didn't think anything of it. And then like 15 minutes later, then I hear my name and I'm like, oh, I hope this has nothing to do with us like hooking up, you know? And I go in and they question me, and I was just like, wanted to deny it because I didn't want to get like my level dropped, but I have like a hard time lying. And also they had already told me that the girl like already said that we, you know, they're like, she already confessed that, you know, you guys did inappropriate things in your room or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, okay. You know, like I wasn't gonna fight it. I really didn't want to get my level dropped, but like I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But it was. And not only did they drop our level, we immediately had to move out of each other's rooms. So because we were roommates, they literally moved us as far away from each other as they could. Like I was on like one side and then she was on like the total opposite side of the house. So that's basically like how I got punished for like hooking up with the girl. And at the time, like I didn't really think that it was bad, you know what I mean? But then I felt like it was really bad because I was punished for it, and like they made it seem like it was like this awful thing. And I was just thinking, like in high school, like people are allowed to date each other and they're allowed to like hook up, right? Like, do you guys get in trouble at high school for like making out with your significant other, whether it's a girl or a boy or whoever? Like, no. It's not like we were like having sex on the table in a class, you know, which I actually have done before. But like this was totally different. Anyway, so now when I look back at it, I'm like, that's fucked up. Like who cares like if we were hooking up? We weren't hurting anybody. At least that's like how I see it, you know? I just think that it's like so crazy. What I think is crazier is that the whole place got shut down. The thing is, like I have such mixed feelings about that place because for one, I think it saved my life. Like I fucking hated it. Like I really did. Like I felt so abandoned by my family, and like just like it was just an awful time in my life. Like I literally probably could have killed myself like if I wasn't there. And so I feel like it saved my life, but at the same time I feel like it kind of traumatized me. It made me have like serious trust issues with people still to this day. I don't know, I just feel like it helped me, but it also fucked me up. And I also think like it fucked a lot of other people up. So many people like ran away, like somehow got out and like ran away. People died there. Like there were a lot of fucked up things that happens. Anyways, I think that I'm gonna make like a whole own video like on that because I think it deserves its own video. Like, and the place is called Excelsior Youth Center, and it was in Colorado. So if any of you guys want to look it up, feel free, and feel free to do your own research on like what happened like with it and everything and why it permanently like shut down. But it was just so nuts, like to know that I was in a place like that and I came out like still somewhat still sane, you know? It just goes to show that like no matter how fucked up of a life you have or how many fucked up things you've done in life, like you can always come out on the other end a better person. And not only a better person, but be able to help other people like you that were once in your shoes and struggling. I don't know, it almost makes me want to cry and like get emotional. Like I think of little Shannon, and if only there was someone that I could have watched on YouTube, and we didn't have YouTube then because I'm an old ass bitch, but like if I were in high school and I had YouTube and I was able to watch somebody else that also was once where I was, and to see like that they're now like a successful person with like a family and like doing well and sober and like thriving, you know? Don't get me wrong, I'm not I'm far from perfect. Even now I have like hard days and like, you know, my life is not perfect, but it's so much better than it used to be. And so I really, really hope that like, even if there's one person that watches this video that like I could give a little bit of hope or inspiration to, that's like why I make these videos, you know? It's just because like I so badly like wish there was someone to help me when I was younger. I'm like fighting back tears because it sucks. Like it sucks being in a position like that where you feel like you're so alone and like you have nobody and you'd rather just die. And like it's hard to go through. It's hard to talk to people like even in real life, you know? And I feel like being able to like watch somebody on YouTube like could have literally helped me so much, you know? Anyway, this is weird that I got emotional. I just hope that like if you are having a hard time or you're feeling down or you're feeling depressed or like you're having really bad anxiety or whatever it is that you're going through that might be like hard for you, just know that tomorrow's a new day and your whole life is not always going to be like this. You have the power to change your life. I really want to do like like a motivational series of like how I went from where I was like as a fucked up teenager to like where I am now. If you guys would ever be interested in like seeing something like that, let me know, because I would make it in a heartbeat, because all I want to do is be able to like help you guys and make you feel good about your life, because like the internet is like, it could be a hard place to like go on, and you can feel like everyone else has these like awesome lives and they're prettier and they're skinnier and they have more money and you know they're doing all these cool things, but like it's not reality, you know. I want to be the part of the internet that's like your happy place that you come to feel better and to feel good and like to feel inspired and motivated and like feel good about yourself, you know. Like life is too short to feel shitty. So anyway, I hope that this video helped you. Thank you guys so much for being here and supporting me. I am so grateful for you, and I hope that you know that. I am sending you all my love and all my positive energy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Mwah!